All right, what's up, guys? It's Jonah Jenkins here on FTE Gaming Channel or Free Thinking Era. So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a community here that looks at world events, looks at world issues, maybe the societal issues, cultural issues, whatever kind of things, whatever thoughts that we have at this moment. That's the kind of thing that I want to talk about because a lot of people right nowadays are being very divided, and I think that the biggest way to combat that is through conversing, and that's how you bring your unity to society and to our culture. That being said, I would like to start the series off by watching a video about maybe some world event or some sort of thought process, and then I'll go into a Rocket League or a League of Legends gameplay, talk about that a little bit, and then hopefully you guys start joining the channel. We can have these real life conversations, and we can have those one-on-one conversations. You guys ask questions, I answer, I ask you questions, and we can create videos about that. And everyone can join, and I think it's going to be really, really cool. So we're going to start off by watching a video with Tucker Carlson, and he's kind of talking about some maybe UFO or maybe some spiritual stuff. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about it. That's why I wanted to watch it with you guys and maybe kind of have a conversation, see what your thoughts are, if I'm new perspectives. So let's talk about it.
We have shared passion for UFO transparency, and you made a comment very recently, which has gotten a lot of attention in the UFO world, that you've learned things that have made you afraid. And I've seen there's been a lot of, I think, right-minded skepticism, not even just from people who are more establishment-minded, others who are like, well, if the government is quote-unquote acknowledging UFOs, and that's how I know that it's not real. So you seem to be a believer. You've spoken with Dave Grush. I've met him as well. He seems like a very, he at least, at the very least, I don't.
That Dave Grush point, I watched the Joe Rogan interview with them, and also I think Tucker Carlson had an interview. So I'll definitely talk about that because that was really, really interesting.
I don't think he's lying to me whenever I was spoken to him. So what gives you assurance that what you're hearing, what you have come to believe is not a government psyop, so to speak?
Well, everything's a government psyop, including UFOs, but that doesn't mean that there aren't UFOs.
Whatever that means.
And I think I know the comment you're referring to is on Clayton Morris's, an old friend of mine called Clayton Morris's podcast, a great guy, really interested in this topic. And I said that there are things that I don't want to talk about, and I, as usual, didn't fully explain myself. If I had, verifiable facts about this phenomenon, I would immediately put them on the air because
I think we'll have to, I hate to interrupt Tucker Carlson speaking, but I think we'll have to find that clip because I remember him talking about some maybe spiritual beings that he couldn't even talk to his wife about. And I think it had the caption under TikTok, I think it was nihilism. So I think there's a clip like that maybe we should probably check out as well.
Because I'm committed to that completely, because my whole life is about that. So I should have said more clearly, I can't be certain. This is just what I believe based on, talking to an awful lot of people about this, some of whom I trust a lot, some of whom I trust sort of. I mean, you're trying to piece it together from lots of different places, but no, these are my views, okay? They can't be proven, but I think they're informed views.
That is exactly what I'm trying to bring here too. Just informed views. My own thoughts, can't really back up some opinions. That's okay. A lot of people's beliefs are not a 100% fact-based to begin with. I think that's where we find a lot of issues in our society, which is okay, right? Because, I mean, beliefs are sometimes faith-based, and that's okay to have. So he's making that aware, and I'm going to try to do that as well, that some of the thoughts that we're having are not 100% true. People can disagree or agree. I'm okay with either or. And I bet you Tucker Carlson feels the same way.
The phenomenon is real. It's been recorded for thousands of years. We know that. There's something buzzing around us in the skies, but also under the oceans, we now know, and probably underground as well. So it's
buzzing around us in the skies, the ocean, maybe underground. Yeah, interesting.
It's real. The government's lied about it a million different ways, probably for a million different reasons, for at least 80 years. That's also confirmed. They're lying about it now. Who knows what their motives are? And they're also trying to keep a lot of this stuff from being disclosed. That's true.
Yes.
So to those people, it's like, it's a psyop. Well, yeah, everything's a psyop. But I know for a dead certain fact, and it's provable, that, say, Mitch McConnell and Speaker Johnson and people and a couple committee chairmen who should all know better are trying to prevent the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023
David Grush talked about that, and mentioned those two names specifically as well.
from taking effect in a meaningful way. So they are trying to hide it still. That's a fact. My own view is that these are not aliens. There's no evidence that they've come from somewhere else. We would probably know. We've got a lot of technology that's watching what comes in and out of the atmosphere, and there's no evidence of that. I think they've been here forever.
Do they come from somewhere else? Maybe. I think they do. I think it's different though. I don't know if maybe they do come from like different solar systems, but I think they travel here probably differently, maybe dimensionally.
Ever. I don't. They're not. I don't. This is my view. Again, it can't be proven, but I'm just telling you.
Again,
After a lot
cannot
of
be proven.
I think it's likely that the U.S. government has had contact with these, direct contact, and over a period of years. I find that really disturbing.
Bohemian Grove, maybe.
And a bunch of other things that are highly distressing that I can't prove, and so I'm certainly not going to throw them out there. But I'll tell you this. I've talked to a lot of people about this, not because I've never been interested in UFOs until like 5 years ago, and I was like, wait, this is real. What is this? Why aren't we talking about this?
Probably like the last month for me.
From a totally idiotic, I don't know anything, curious position, which is my normal posture on everything. And so I've talked to a lot of people, and my view is that this is my opinion, that there are things about this that are really disturbing. And while I hate any kind of government secrecy, and if I could prove any of this, I would say it immediately, consequences be damned, I do sort of understand why they don't want to let this stuff out. It's not about, oh, we've got fragments of one of these crafts at a Lockheed, facility in California, and we have biologics from the craft. Everyone knows that that's
David
likely
Gresh's
true.
point.
Well, it's certainly true that they have the, pieces of this stuff.
Yep.
But I think it's likely that it's darker than that, and that the U.S. government is, I say the U.S. government, people in the U.S. government, not the U.S. government, but, there are it's the largest human organization in history. Parts of it, have knowledge that is very, very disturbing. And I personally strongly think, that there's a spiritual component to this that I don't understand and will not pretend to understand. But I think it's very clear that there's a spiritual component to this. That's one of the reasons the Vatican, and I'm not Catholic, but has been involved in this for over 100 years, has an observatory, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
It's pretty obvious that these are not men from Mars. And I think that was a psyop, because I think the truth is a little bit wilder and has deeper implications just than that.
Giving us even more.
Alrighty. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go play some Rocket League, and then in which case we will talk about some of the stuff that we just heard. I got a couple thoughts to that. I'm curious to know what you guys think about it as well. Crazy topic to start with, huh? Oh god, I can't wait. I have to switch out the mouse with the controller automatically, and I think there might be a better way to do that, but that's why it's a little choppy here. Yeah, we're just gonna go hop in a regular. I have not touched training at all today, so I don't want to be terrible. Just hopping into a ranked game. We'll see how far we can get in ranked this year too. But talk about the stuff with Tucker Carlson that we just listened to. The funny thing is, before I watched that video, I had a conversation with my father at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking about everything. I woke up. I was like, you know what? I want to go downstairs, grab some water. I kind of want to see if my dad's awake, because he's usually awake downstairs. Not at that time. Maybe 12 o'clock, but just on the off chance that he was. It turns out that he was awake. And I was talking. I was like, man, I got a really bad feeling. I feel like there's a spiritual kind of battle going on here of good versus evil. And right now, I just feel like evil's winning. And of course, that sounds crazy just to start with. So I'm assuming my dad's okay, what the hell's wrong with this kid? And I was like, I'm dead serious. Something feels wrong in my heart that something's going on. And then we talked about just a bunch of random shit. But I had a similar conversation with my dad about that, which is what Tucker Carlson was alluding to. Is man, there's something spiritual going on. And I was like, okay, well that's kind of crazy. That I was thinking about that, and then I think it was the next day that video came out. Oh, that you don't want to let me peek? Ah. So, sorry. This is going to be super difficult to talk about these while playing, but I hope I get better at this. Hey, can you not? I'm ass. Jesus, yeah, no. no training, just hopping in. But then they're talking about the UFOs, UAPs. I think that God, I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like the spirits, the spiritual battle that we have. What is this, by the way? Like, what is this? What is going on? Why are these people so terrible? Dude, why is my level like 1? My level's 1 now. I was at like 1700. Okay, that's why. Oh, this is bad. So I'm just actually smurfing on these people, which is sad, and talking about this random shit. But anyway, Tucker Carlson was talking about the spiritual warfare and the similarities, I suppose, between that and maybe the UFOs. I think that my guess is the UFO stuff from outer space, we most likely doesn't mean anything. I think that they probably use that as a facade to explain what's probably actually going on, which they probably do know. Like the fact that the Vatican's into it, I mean, just if you read the Bible and you understand, like, kind of like some of the powers that, you know, was said that Jesus Christ had on first, you know, these are first testimonials as well. So you look at it, like, if you really look into it that way, and then if you look into like the Egyptian pyramids and like how those were built, but we really don't know how those were built. So obviously there was some sort of different either technology or way to manipulate either space-time or some sort of molecules using frequency. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into that as well, but God, this is so bad. I hate playing against these people. I don't know why I'm level 1. So sad. So sad. I was wondering why, like, what the hell was going on with this game. But anyway, I don't know. I think that they most likely utilize people's other suspicions to probably actually hide what's going on. I think that's pretty clear, because you can just kind of tell that they do that with everything else. But if there were other life forms from another, you know, solar system or galaxy, whatever you want to call it. This is so bad. You would probably assume that if they had the means to get here, they would be looking at us as if, like, you think, like, prospectively, right? They're probably looking at us as if we're like an ant farm, because we are not at their level of species. But we do have some sort of consciousness, so they're watching us do things, maybe self-destruct in some way. And so it's interesting to think about it that way, because why would they interact with, like, an ant farm, right? Unless, like, you know, you wanted to, like, destroy the ant farm, which, in case that would be an interaction. You could also just observe the ant farm, which is probably most likely what's happening, right? And then you probably have people that, you know, experiment with the ant farm, and they probably mess with people in some sense. Like, that's also probably viable. I don't know. It's really it's pretty interesting to think about it if you look at it that way. And I don't know if, like, that scares people. I don't know if that, like, because, like, it was like super. Obviously, it's super theoretical, right? And, like, this is taking a bunch of just assumptions and just putting them together. But in some sense, they have a logical thought process behind it, right? And it's probably just whatever I'm utilizing, whatever makes most sense to me. But I am curious what people think. I know that there's people that, you know, are dead set on their aliens from another solar system, and, like, you know, they have their evidence, and I get that. I also get people that, you know, have been following along with, like, the spiritual warfare of everything, and just, like, you know, the idea of good versus bad, yin, yang. I think that's kind of interesting as well. I get the premise behind that too, just because there does feel like there's something in more spiritual. And I guess the spirituality really comes from the idea that, like, if you look at it from the point, if you die, right, like, what happens to you after that, right? Your soul, right? We're more than just matter and bones. Like, we have a thought process, we have a personality, right, which is done from the brain, but like the actual thought process, right, is immaterial. So there has to be something behind that. I don't know. Who knows, right? So that's what I got for you guys today. We'll leave you with that. I appreciate you guys joining me on my Rocket League experience. You guys got to watch what probably Bronze 3 looks like, and I have not seen that gameplay in a while. I was not locked in. I'm trying to think about what the hell to say and about that entire situation with the Tucker Carlson video that we watched and what he was going into. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is completely different. I'm going to just be trying a bunch of different random topics like this, just to get people's thoughts, and obviously we'll switch up with either ARAM or Rocket League, and we'll continue going with that, and we'll kind of start a series like that. Maybe we'll get into some times where if we have people join and get conversations going, we can have that little podcast conversational talk with people. That's something that I'm really interested in doing as well. And I'm going to try and find people to do that with me. So thank you guys. This is video number 1. We'll get better as we go on. I think I've watched enough videos to kind of see maybe how to talk, maybe not. Obviously, we'll get better. We'll grow as a channel, as a person, and hopefully as humanity, we also grow. So thank you guys, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day.